In this video, we're going to talk about the third and last great kingdom of Africa that we discuss in class. So before we get into it, we're going to do a quick review of the vocabulary that we've been going over. Remember, these pair decks are posted for you, so if you want to go through and quiz yourself on the vocabulary and the questions on your own, that's completely okay. This video is just here to help you out with the information. So, the top word is a Hajj. All right, that's the word that we talked about in our last video, which means a pilgrimage to Mecca. Okay? A pilgrimage is a religious journey. Oh, whoops, sorry. Pilgrimage is a religious journey to a sacred place. So, if you are Muslim, then you probably think of Mecca as a very important religious place that people take a pilgrimage or a long religious journey to go see at least once in their lives. All right, next we have Mansa Musa. So if you remember, Mansa Musa is our king of Mali. Right, so the most successful leader of Mali. Mali is a kingdom in West Africa known for riches and education. Okay, so Mansa Musa was our most successful leader of Mali. He took a pilgrimage to Mecca because he practiced the religion of Islam, making him Muslim. Right, so Islam is a religion that's promoted by Mansa Musa, and it's still practiced today. Right, so Islam wasn't a religion that was practiced way back hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, actually. Right, it wasn't just something practiced back then, people still practice it today. Right, Niger is very important. It is a river in West Africa where the great kingdoms settled. Right, so all three of the great kingdoms that we talk about are settled around the Niger River. Right, and this river is why they were able to trade so well and why they were able to grow so many great crops, because it had very fertile soil. All right, lastly, that funny word to say out loud, Berbers. And they were North African people who set up the trade routes in West Africa. Again, you can look at this pair deck on your own and try this out on your own if you want to quiz yourself and make sure you know it. So, our third great kingdom that we're going to talk about is the Songhai Empire. So, in the 1300s, when Mansa Musa was still the leader of this area and he was leading the Mali Empire, right? He actually conquered this kingdom called Songhai. And you'll see on the map, this blue line is the Niger River, and the Songhai Empire will eventually take up all of this place. So Mansa Musa actually conquered or took over another kingdom called Songhai that was also set up near the Niger River. But as the Mali Empire became more weak, the Songhai Empire became stronger, right? So the Songhai Empire actually took advantage of the fact that Mansa Musa and Mali was getting weaker and used that as a way to regain independence and take over Mali. All right, so this is a kind of a crazy story. Mali was powerful and took over Songhai. And then over time, Songhai became really strong and powerful, and they were able to take Mali back over. Right? So now Songhai is the really strong kingdom in the 1400s, so only 100 years later. And Songhai now took over all of this land that you see in green around the Niger River. Right? This is the biggest kingdom of the three that we've talked about so far. So, just how when we talked about Mali, we spoke a lot about their great ruler Mansa Musa, right? In Songhai, their greatest ruler's name was Muhammad Chur, but we don't usually call him Muhammad Chur. What we call him is Askia the Great, right? So he chose to go by Askia, but he was such a great ruler that he became known as Askia the Great. Why was he so great, you may ask? Well, Askia the Great, he was also Muslim, and because of this, he supported education and learning a lot, similar to Mansa Musa. So, when Askia the Great was in power, Songhai, which is the kingdom, was able to create more mosques, which are religious buildings, universities, which are colleges, schools, and libraries. So he made a lot of spaces where the people of Songhai could go and educate themselves and learn. Right? People came from all over West Africa to study here. Right? So that means people who were not living in Songhai would travel to Songhai just to study things like math and science, medicine, and law. Right, and you'll see this picture, they're showing ancient books from Timbuktu in Songhai. Look how old those books are. They're so old that their pages are yellowing and browning. Right, so a question that we ask is why or what did Askia the Great and Mansa Musa have in common? Right, so what they both had in common is that they were both Muslim leaders who cared about education and learning. Both of them thought it was very important that the people in their empire would learn, right, and be able to continue to learn new things. So, something else that Askia the Great did was he thought that they needed a good government to rule Songhai. So, he created a professional army and reorganized the government. Right? So, what that means is he set up a group of people to fight the army and he appointed leaders for their government. Right? So that this way, if he had leaders who were loyal to him, he would be able to create these departments, right? That's kind of work on specific tasks for the kingdom, right? And he would be able to make rules and laws for the kingdom that he thought would benefit them. There's a video about Songhai here. If you open the Pear Deck in student paced mode, you'll be able to watch that on your own. All right, I just want to show you here how big Songhai is. So this spot with the yellow, not yellow, with the purple lines is Ghana, right? So Ghana was very powerful, but it looks pretty small now, right? Then Mali was way bigger than Ghana, and that's shown with those green lines, right? They're all by the Niger River. But now look how big Songhai is. Songhai actually took over or conquered Mali, this entire yellow spot. Right, so Songhai was very, very powerful and very large. Right, this is a really important skill for us to know in general, but also for our quiz. Right, this question says, which was the most recent empire? Was it Mali, Ghana, or Songhai? So we say using the map legend. What that means is we're going to use this white box here. This white box here that tells us what's going on in the map. So the point of the legend is to tell me what all of these little symbols mean on the map. Something else that this legend happens to tell me is the timing or the years. So you'll see it says Ghana 1000. That means that in the year 1000, that's when this little purple lined empire of Ghana was around. Okay? The green, so you'll see green over here. This green area was Mali. Okay? And Mali, you'll see on our legend, was a great empire in 1400. And lastly, Songhai, which we'll see in this kind of red, orangish color right on the map, was a powerful kingdom in 1500. So, what they want us to be able to do is use that information to find the most recent empire, meaning the last one to happen. So, to find the most recent, we're going to need to find the year that has the biggest number. So, if I'm comparing Ghana with 1000, Mali with 1400, and Songhai with 1500, 1500 is the biggest number and the most recent year. Okay? It might also help you to remember that we learned about them in order. So the most recent one is Songhai. It's the one that we learned about last. So your answer would be the Songhai Empire. All right, there's a few questions on your quiz that want you to be able to read a map like this. One other thing that you should be able to do on a map is find out what it's about using its title. Right? So the title of this map is Empires of West Africa, 1800 to 1500. So this title tells me what the map is about. This makes me aware that our map is showing me the empires of West Africa. Okay, after this video, if you need to make up the quiz on the great empires of West Africa, number 40 on your Google Classroom, you now have heard all of the information that you will need in order to take that quiz successfully. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask me or Miss Weintraut, or come see us at 1:40 during remote office hours.